Hey, Texas Values supporters. This is Jonathan Covey, the policy director for Texas Values, with a Friday update of the latest happenings in the Texas legislature. With me is our Director of Government Relations, Mary Elizabeth Castle, and Megan Benton, our Strategic Policy Associate. And we're officially in May, meaning we are on the latter end of the Texas legislature, the Texas legislative session, and definitely in a time where the train is moving at top speed. It's the time of session that makes or breaks legislation, and we definitely have a lot to tell you from this past week about things that have gone on, and then some things up and coming, some events that are coming up as well. So, just to start off this update, wanted to talk a little, just briefly mention that we were able with our team to attend the National Day of Prayer, the Governor's Prayer Breakfast, and it was in conjunction with the National Day of Prayer, which was on Monday of this past week. So got to attend that up in Round Rock at the Kalahari, where Governor Abbott was present. So we wanted to start out by giving you an update on some pieces of legislation that moved in this past week. One of the exciting pieces of legislation was Senate Bill 412. This is a bill by Senator Mays Middleton, and what it does is it repeals the affirmative defenses in the penal code for displaying harmful materials to minors. So you have schools and school districts sometimes that show very inappropriate material, harmful material to students or to minors, and they use this educational or scientific affirmative defense. And SB 412 says that's repealed. You can't use that. And it was voted out of the House. It's already been through the Senate this week, and it's on its way to the governor's desk to be signed. And the governor, I believe, is in favor of this. So we're very excited to know that SB 412 is coming down the pipeline and that we played a role in that. Another piece of legislation is Senate Bill 10, the Texas 10 Commandments bill. This is a fantastic bill that was heard in House Public Education Committee this week. It started Tuesday and it ended Wednesday. And guys, I'm telling you, it was a marathon hearing. And I was there, I testified, but I actually had to wait until 5:30 in the morning. So it started at 8 a.m. On Tuesday and didn't end until 5:30 a.m. on Wednesday. One of the longest hearings we've had this session. But we testified in favor of SB 10, putting the Ten Commandment plaques in public school classrooms. So this is a very exciting bill that's moving in a very good shape because it's already been through the Senate and is now through House committee as well, or almost through House committee. I believe it was just voted out. So we're excited for this bill. House Bill 2969. This is a bill by Representative Briscoe Cain. This is a bill that Texas Values has been working on, which has to do with religious liberty and freedom for attorneys and licensing. This is a very good bill to protect the freedom of speech and the freedom of religion for attorneys. That was heard last week in a House committee and voted out yesterday, and now it's moving on to House calendars. So we're looking forward to seeing that get a floor date and move out of the Texas House and go to the Texas Senate. We've also had some movement on the Senate version as well. So we're very excited that this issue is coming together and we're going to see it passed and, Lord willing, sent to the governor's desk at some point soon. Keep praying for this bill and keep advocating for this bill. This is HB 2969 by Representative Briscoe Cain. And then finally, but not least importantly, probably one of the most important is SB 229, which is the What is a Woman bill by Representative Ellen Troxclair. This bill was heard, if you remember, last week. It defines the definition of man and woman, and male and female, and it was voted out of committee yesterday, I believe, right, Mary Elizabeth, and it is now on its way to calendars committee in the House as well. So I'm sorry that was HB 229. I said SB. But we're very excited for this bill to continue moving forward in the House, and we've got some good momentum. So continue keeping that in your prayers and advocating for that bill as well. And I want to hand it over to Mary Elizabeth to talk a little bit about some of the other things that happened this week that she was covering, and then we'll go to Megan after that.
Yes, well, testifying on bills still continued this week, even though we're in a different part of the process, as Covey mentioned, where we are seeing action on the floor on different bills being voted along in the process. We started off the week with a religious liberty issue that a supporter brought to us, Brian, about the religious liberty of real estate holders. You've seen us testify and talk about many times how these different professional organizations, especially when it comes to the American Bar Association, but now we're seeing even with the Realtor Association, these rules where they are like hate speech rules or anti-discrimination rules that basically are saying that if you have a biblical view on LGBTQ issues, then you could lose any type of professional recognition or access to professional things. And that's what it is with the realtors. Losing access to a particular database, if you're familiar with this process, that they need in order to actually, be successful in their trade. And so that bill was heard on Monday. We had other bills heard throughout the week on education and Senate education, which has done a lot of great work, but there's still a few bills that they're trying to get through. Senator Paxton has the bill on teaching kids about fetal development, making sure that's a topic taught in health class. You may remember back in 2020, this was added to the health TEKS, teaching kids about fetal development and bringing that significance of the life in the womb to students so that they understand this very early on. For a bill would be even more expansive than what we currently have in the health TEKS, and then also having that in law would ensure that the next time they have the health TEKS review is something that cannot be left out. So very thankful for this bill to make that permanent. I believe that bill actually received positive action as well, but we'll keep you updated on whether or not that's been voted out of committee. Also, for next week, you should be aware that SB 13, many of you follow this issue very closely, especially if you're a parent who has kids in schools, keeping the inappropriate library books out of schools. This is basically unfinished business, making sure that we have solid policy, it's understandable. Unfortunately, there were just a lot of things that were confusing about the current law. Certain parts were only able to go in place due to some legal action, but SB 13 will resolve a lot of those concerns and just make it um, a lot more understandable and make it easier for schools to understand what they need to do as far as a process and keeping these books out of the library and then also removing them once they are there. So that bill will have a hearing next Tuesday in House Public Education. So that means it's in the part of the process where it's already passed through the Senate chamber, it's now in the House. And so it's in a good position, if we have a successful hearing on Tuesday. And then, of course, it travels to Calendars Committee and then onto the House floor. So very excited about the movement of that bill. Another bill that our kind of partners, so to speak, or our umbrella organization that has been pushing Family Policy Alliance is the social media bill. It's one that basically says that you need parental permission in order to access social media. And that has been a key issue for a lot of organizations like us, just for a number of reasons. You may have heard about age verification for pornographic websites. That was successful. The decision for that case should be coming down pretty soon from the Supreme Court. But unfortunately, kids don't have to go directly to those sites to be exposed to inappropriate or harmful material. A lot of this is available on Instagram and TikTok without kids even trying to look for it. But just some of the other arguments too about the harms of just kids being online and parents wanting to have that control and have that conversation about anything that their kids see online, especially when it comes to just being addicted to social media, which it hasn't proven good for kids. So great to see that that bill did pass on the House floor this week. So that's, been a kind of a family issue, like I said, with a lot of different organizations similar to us. So great to see some things that are moving out of committee. We're kind of at that point where we're wanting to see more action on the floor. So we're starting to see that with a lot of bills. So it's an exciting time. But at the same time, still need you to communicate to your legislators that we do need a hearing on the Women's Privacy Act. Like Covey said, had a good week last week on a very similar issue, a bedrock issue of privacy, but we need a hearing on SB 240. So don't forget to sign our petition and just let your member know that we would like to see a hearing soon.
Thanks, Mary Elizabeth. Megan, tell us a little bit about what you worked on.
Yeah, so this week we had a hearing in the House on Representative Swanson's bill, House Bill 370. And what this bill does is it protects professional sports for women in Texas and ensures that no Texas funds for events are going to organizations that are allowing men to compete in the women's division. So I got the pleasure of testifying on this bill yesterday, actually. And it was really incredible because just last week, there was actually an incident that I got to talk about in San Antonio, Texas, where a biological man swam in the women's division in a competition and won first place in every heat that he competed in. And so it just goes to show that men do not belong in women's sports and that it not only puts women at risk, but it steals away opportunities that we work so hard for. So I was able to present this example to the committee and just drive the point home that Texas has made a stand on this issue in 2021 and again in 2023. And it's time to double down this year and make sure that professional sports are protected as well.
Thank you, Megan. Very important point to make. And we are at the time in session where things are moving so fast, it's hard to keep up. We've just hit some of the tip of the iceberg for you of the things that our team has actually done. We actually testified on a number of other bills and worked a number of other meetings as well. But, continue to pray for our team. We, just like anyone else, we get tired. We have, personal lives that we work on, go back to as well. And so, of course, we like spending time with our family, but we are here most of the time, almost all of the time, fighting for you, fighting at the Texas Capitol for faith, family, and freedom issues. And so we need your support and your encouragement. That closes out our Friday update. Remember, if you want to stay up with breaking news and information, you can text TX Values to 797979. Also, remember that we do speaking engagements. So as you start forming your plans for June and for July, remember us, keep us in mind, and set up a time where we can come out and speak and give you a legislative update on all the things that are happening. It is truly an honor for us as a team to be able to be your boots on the ground here at the Texas Capitol. And until next time, we hope you have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.